to the EEPROM 9. Today is a bit of a different review because it's my first piece of test equipment review. With my Precision Gold PG012, which is probably the best cheap multimeter on the market. £24. And remember, pounds is not a weight, it's a currency. Using pounds as a weight, how ridiculous, it's a currency. Anyway, that's not the review. It's of this piece of kit, which is a Weir, W-E-I-R, 423D, or 423D, and made in England, so proper engineer, not made by monkeys like stuff is today. Now what is special about this power supply is it's, from the late 70s to early 80s, late 70s this model. I've had a look at the transistor date codes. It's fantastic and still in calibration. It's built ruggedly. I mean, this is all metal construction, heavy, but awesome. And I have a test equipment supplier, which means I can get expensive test equipment that I can't afford for free. So I'm utilising that to its best, getting stuff far better than a junk supply, because junk can be obtained anyway, but test equipment, if you can get a test equipment supplier, jump on it, because test equipment is horribly expensive. It's amazing what people throw away. It's simple controls. It's got this lovely power adjustable knob. I mean, this combined with the power supply I built will give me all the power I need probably for forever. But this, and not only that, it gives you fine tuning with this. It's so no resistance whatsoever, and it also operates this second dial. Now, in no means does this go with the voltage, but it does work beautifully. It's lovely, and it's got a lovely analog panel meter. I cannot tell you how much I love analog panel meters. It's completely out of calibration. This is the only bit that's out of calibration, but it works a treat. You've got your positive and negative here, your whatever, I don't know what this one's for, probably links to Earth. I'm not going to test it now. You've got your power, then you've got 5 volts, which is fixed, then you've got 0 to 15 volts, 0 to 30 volts, and 0 to 60 volts. Now the great thing about this is it will always default to the lowest voltage switch pushed in. So if I push them all in, it will go to 5 volts. If I move 5 volts, it will go to this one. So not so to make it less likely of accidentally blowing something up. This switch doesn't hold back in, but it's not a major one. This one does. So it's not a major one worth worrying about. There's currently 4 settings to it, a bit like binary, although it's not really binary because this is a fully analog device. Only transistors and the odd chip in this beast. So let's power it up. Lovely proper power switch, so it doesn't consume power when plugged in like a laptop with its bloody stupid soft power switch. Lovely neon light. I cannot tell you how much I love neon lights as power indicators. Now it does produce a little bit of voltage when it's off, but we put 5 volts in and it's dead on 5 volts. So we put it up to 60 volts and start turning it. Oh yeah, this also locks, so you can set it to your voltage and then you can't turn it. And then you can't turn it, so you can't accidentally cut power or blow up your device. So we're not this up, and you notice when it gets to 30 volts we're actually on 26, and we get all the way up to 60, we're on, or 61.6, off the charts. So this needs calibration. It's like that on all the ranges, like 8 volts there is on the 10 volts, 20 volts there is 17.5. It's like that down the table. So that is the only bit that needs a bit of adjustment, so I am going to figure out how to do that and do this. Next we're going to get to looking inside the beast, because it's a power supply. There isn't really a lot you can say about the external. It has voltage selection on the back for if you move to the US or something or need US power, and a nice screw-in fuse, and there's lovely power regulatory transistors down the back here on the back heatsink. It's also got a carry handle because test equipment is always made to be reasonably portable. It's often heavy. I guess because labs move around a lot and you need to change equipment depending on what you're doing, so you can put it away easily. So now we're going to get to the fun part. But remember, before you open anything up that's plugged into the mains, switch it off and unplug it so to avoid a nasty shock. So we'll put that up there where I can see it. I'll pause the camera and I'll get to opening it up. Now remember, this thing's unplugged. Now of course you obviously don't want to be putting your fingers in near any of the capacitors because, well, you've got a 40 volt one to 40 volts down there and that big ass one there that I don't know its voltage rating. Looking at the date codes on the transistors, this is from the late 70s and has precision components in it, which isn't a surprise considering how accurate it seems to be. You've got the lovely push button switches, mechanisms that you can see in here. You've got the power one, which means, well, that board has mains potential, so don't go playing with this plugged in, and in fact the mains potential part is even marked by red on the traces. It mostly just goes to that switch. Now inside here is a beautiful construction that is actually quite maintenance allowing. It doesn't disallow maintenance. All the cables that are plugged in are unpluggable, which means you can take out boards for maintenance and so on and so forth. At the back here, if I turn it round, this cover, you take it off and you've got power transistors, which are also insulated from this because this is all earthed. And to be frankly honest, it is a superb construction. And also a lot safer than modern electronics because when these go wrong, they don't explode or burst into flames. I'll tell you some stories about modern electronics. One of my laptop power supplies had an internal fire that thankfully didn't breach the case. I was most disgusted at not only the cheapness of its construction, but also the fact it had an internal fire. A printer in standby also burned down one of the classrooms when I was in school. And I have heard many numerous tales of modern electronics literally exploding. When something like this, it just works and it loves it. And despite these components being old, when they do fail, they don't just go. The cap there looks like it's in need of maintenance though, down there. Looking into it, it is old and it will receive maintenance when it needs it. Because it's a fantastic piece of kit that I intend to keep working for eternity. And I would highly recommend, if you come across one of these power supplies and you need a power supply, picking it up. Because it is a fantastic piece of equipment. And there's your voltage selection connector, which pulls out like that. Now we pop it back in, so it's back on the 240 line. Because if you put it on 120 and plug it in, it will just go bang. And you've got your fuse holder here, which is unscrewable and not jammed. And there's your fuse, which is a 250 volt 500 milliamp fuse, and it looks like a quick blow too. And the best part of all, where does it say it? Where does it say it? Where does it say it? Where does it say made in England? Sussex, England. I can't find it now where it says made in England, but it's somewhere on here. Weir Instruments to the Dumden Road, that's the address probably of the factory. Fantastic piece of equipment. If you come across one, pick it up. It's worth it. Thanks for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed, because I will get much enjoyment out of using this piece of kit. See ya when I see ya. They've even drilled holes in the board so you can reach the pots. And labelled it meter V, meter A. They've even labelled it. How fantastic is that? They've labelled it.